What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Facebook? I appreciate y'all being here today. And we're going to talk about the NBA's vaccine policy mandate battle that's going on. There's a few players that are not getting it, so it seems. And Rolling Stones is reporting that the players who don't want to get the vaccine are winning the battle because one of the players that seems to not want to get it, according to reports, is Kyrie Irving, who's a pretty big star, one of the biggest. So they're in a bit of a debacle, and we're going to go through that because it's not just the NBA policy, but you have the government policy of San Francisco, the government policy of New York, and it's intertwining with the rules. And the funny part is, I'm going to read it. If you're on the home team in San Francisco, you have to get the vaccine. It's a mandate. If you're the away team and you're playing the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco, you don't have the mandate. Like these are the rules. I got to read them aloud. It doesn't make any sense. And then when you disagree with them, they call you names. But let's see. Stop. See, I'm not playing it. All right, I gotta get to work. Sorry, I like basketball. So I was just listening to that old song. I think it was like a Jock Jam song, getting hyped up for this live stream. But back to work. Sorry, folks. I got put down the basketball, pick up the papers. I forgot who I was for a second. But anyway, what's up, Rhonda? Who we got? Wilmar, JT, Shane from Kentucky. Appreciate y'all. We'll just hop right into it in a few. For y'all who don't know, I guess as people are getting in, we'll wait like 10 more seconds. Telegram, t.me/DreamWareChat. I think the link is in the comments. The hats are at godblesshats.com. That's it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching, liking, disliking, whatever. Really, your conversation and presence is appreciated. Thank you. I had a good weekend. I shot a music video yesterday. Enough about me. Let's get into the story. So I'm going to start with the CNN report, and I know they're not my favorite news, but they covered this topic. So they said NBA's New York and Bay Area teams prepare for COVID-19 vaccine policies set by home cities. So I guess New York and the Bay Area are taking it into their own hands, the governments there. So CNN reports, while the return of packed stadiums this year has brought a renewed sense of optimism in the sporting world that the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic in the past, certain teams must still adhere to vaccination mandates set by local governments. The NBA has warned the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Golden State Warriors that vaccine protocols set by their home cities would prohibit their players from participating in home games in New York City and San Francisco if they were not vaccinated or exempted. The city's vaccination policies do not apply to players visiting teams who compete at their arenas. This is like the goofiest, and then they call you this word. We're going to talk about it later. The anti-vaxxer, right? They call people this name, and it's like it doesn't take a certain type of person to think that it's kind of weird that you're forcing the home team to adhere to this policy. But then if I play for another team, let's just say I play for the Dallas Mavericks, for instance. I don't. I wish I did. But anyway, and I come and play the Golden State Warriors, I wouldn't have to adhere to the same policy. It's like, is my air and my, body as an NBA athlete different than the bodies of the home team? It's just like none of these policies make any sort of scientific sense. It's like when they were telling everybody to stay inside, they're like, you stay inside. But when the George Floyd riots came around, they're like, but you guys can do that. And then I'm going to read something real quick. I'm not trying to get off topic, but it is relevant. This is from Bill Malugan about the border. He's talking about Mayorkas, who's the DHS guy, admits that 12,000 plus Haitian illegal immigrants were released into the U.S. from Del Rio. So they're just releasing not just immigrants or illegal immigrants from Mexico and South America, but some, I'm not sure where they got or how they got there from Haiti. But he said they were not subject to any vaccine or testing mandates. So I'm not trying to be trendy or anything, but it's like the people who run this country, they hate us. And I'm not even trying to like hop on. They hate us. They hate American citizens. It doesn't matter who you are. They hate you. They don't like you. If you come in illegally over the border and break the law, they'll give you more medical freedom than they give our own citizens. How does that make any sense at all? It doesn't make sense. They hate you. It's just like, we're going to mandate it for the Warriors, but if a team comes and play, I'm going to read it again. This is a CNN. The city's vaccination policies do not apply to the players from visiting teams who compete at their arenas. So if you're playing the Warriors, you don't have to adhere, but Andrew Wiggins does because he plays for the Warriors. I guess somehow that's science, folks. Science says that one team can spread the. It's ridiculous. How does anybody buy this anymore? I don't want to yell and get like annoyed, but seriously, like, how dumb are people? Even if you're like the most liberal, you love Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're like, now that Neil deGrasse Tyson and that Bill Nye the Science Guy, now those guys get, even if you're that type of person, it's like, how in the world is like a radar not going off in your head? So Andrew Wiggins, who's one of the players for the Golden State Warriors, he applied for a religious exemption. New York Times reported that the NBA denied Andrew Wiggins' request for a religious exemption from the vaccine. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, if he caves or he actually stands up for himself. Now, here's something that's pretty optimistic. I'm going to read a Rolling Stone report. But first, I have to talk about the definition anti-vaxxer, because the title of this is Rolling Stone. It says the NBA's anti-vaxxers are trying to push around the league, and it's working. Conspiracy theories in the locker room, masked police in the arena, superstars trying to avoid the shot. After bringing back the culture from COVID, basketball confronts its own civil war. Jeez, they're making it really dramatic. But anyway, they're trying to brand these people anti-vaxxers and saying they're winning the battle against the NBA. So I've said this a few times, but it's like, if you don't like a vaccine that's 100% effective, and they could prove without a shadow of a doubt, this medicine works really, really, really well, and we could prove it so everybody knows. And then you're like, I don't believe it. Maybe you could call somebody that. If you don't want to take one, say that you've been vaccinated 10 times, 12 times, 15 times, you're like, I want to opt out of Operation Warp Speed. I'd rather wait a few years. Maybe I just don't want it at all. I'm not afraid of this virus particularly, whatever. They call you an anti-vaxxer. It makes no sense. If you didn't drink juice when, like, I like orange juice, apple juice, cranberry juice. I'm not a fan of like carrot juice, but it's like, if the government showed up my door, you need to drink this juice right now. You're going to be healthier if you drink this juice right now. We don't care about 4 or 5 years down the road. We don't have liability for it, but you need to take it. And I'm like, whoa, I don't want to take this juice. You're an anti-juicer. You don't like any juice. You're a juice conspiracy theorist. It's like, no, I want to drink juice when I want to drink juice. I don't want to drink all the juices in the world all the time when you say so. I don't want Operation Juice Speed, the fastest juice ever rushed to market. I'm going to take my time. They wouldn't use it. Are you an anti-pillar? Google how many pills are approved by the FDA. I think it's like upwards of 20,000 or so. If you don't take them all whenever they want to, are you an anti-pillar? No, I take pills sometimes, but not all the times. And some people I know take 4 or 5 pills a day. I take none. I've taken pills in the past. I've gotten sick and I've chosen to listen to my doctor and take the pills, but I'm not out here taking pills whenever they tell me to take pills. I'm not an anti-pillar, only in the category of vaccine. You're an anti-vaxxer. And that extends not just to people who don't want to get it, but they're also using that false, phrase to define people who got the COVID vaccine but are against mandates. So if you got both vaccinations or you got a booster shot and you're like, you know what, I want it for myself, but I don't believe in mandates, they'll call you an anti-vaxxer soon. So I had to debunk it because they keep using these words to try to make them sound so great. Does it take some, regardless of whether you got the vaccine or not, what science says that if the Golden State Warriors are playing the Dallas Mavericks, the Golden State Warriors' entire team needs to be vaccinated, including Andrew Wiggins, who can't have a religious exemption, but the entire, the Dallas Mavericks, who cares if they're 50% vaccinated? There is no, you get what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'll read their stupid article because there's actually some good stuff in there. Rolling Stone said the NBA anti-vaxxers are trying to push around the league and it's working. So they reported in the Rolling Stone, apparently they somehow got into a meeting or whatever. It said this month, league officials caught a break. 2 of America's most progressive cities, New York and San Francisco, would require pro athletes to show proof of one COVID-19 vaccination dose to play indoors, except with an approved medical or religious exemption. So here's the weird part. Okay, so New York and San Francisco would require pro athletes, the government there, to show proof of one COVID vaccination dose. One dose? You only need one. You only need one dose in New York or San Francisco. If everybody's supposed to take 2 doses, right? They're saying take 2 doses. Well, take a 3rd dose. Or booster shot. Don't do a booster shot. Do a booster shot. World Health Organization says no. FDA panel says no. The CDC panel says no. Whatever. CDC director over supersedes the advisory board. It says yeah. It's like trust the experts. They're arguing with each other right now. Whatever. Anyway, it's like so everyone's got to take 2 doses to be fully vaccinated, but you're allowed to play in the stadium with 1 dose. Science, folks. Hashtag science. If I was one of them, I'd wear this around on my head. I'd be like, I follow the science, guys. The science says that everybody needs 2 doses, but you need 1 dose to play in San Francisco. Unless, of course, you're in one of the traveling teams, then you don't need any dose because those are the laws. Those are the rules. Doesn't make any damn sense. And for anybody who wants it, come get it. Oh, come on, sir. They're out here playing rough ball here, man. They're fouling me left and right. Anyway, I just want to show y'all how tough I was. Getting back to it. So according to Rolling Stone, they only need 1 dose. One dose. That's it. But, I mean, you're supposed to get 2, but if you get 1, that's fine. But if you're from the away team, I guess that's fine too, because it's the science, folks. Just want to throw something. Anyway, let's calm down. Let's keep reading. Which meant one of the NBA's biggest stars, one known for being receptive to conspiratorial beliefs, would be under heavy pressure to get a shot. And if Brooklyn Nets superstar Kyrie Irving could be convinced to take the vaccine, then maybe, just maybe, the whole league could create a new kind of bubble together. See what happens when you stand up for yourself, folks? Kyrie Irving, he's a big star, right? I would say he's a top 10 player in the league. Definitely makes a lot of money for the league. To be honest, I have Kyrie Irving sneakers. He came out years ago with a conspiracy theory, and I thought it was funny. So I was in the store, and I was like, whose sneakers do I want to buy? I was like, LeBron? No. This person? No. I was like, let me buy the Kyries, because Kyrie's out here talking shit. So I bought the Kyries, and I still have them. You can see me hooping in Kyries. I'm just saying. That's my sneakers. Anyway, I'm proud of my boy. They're like, if we could just convince him to get the vaccine, maybe then with the whole league. See, when that's all it takes. One big boy to say no, and now the whole league has to say, whoa, we don't want to lose $200 million. Whoa, that guy's got a big contract, multi-million. So thank you, Kyrie Irving, for standing up for yourself. Not because you're an anti-vaxxer, because you're a grown man who shouldn't, in my perspective, be forced to take an injection that you don't want to take when the league or the government or the corporate America tells you to. Good for you, Kyrie. Let's keep reading, and let's no more basketball funny business. Okay, this is a new show. I'm thirsty though. Hold on. Gotta drink more water. I drink too much coffee. Anyway, Rolling Stone continues. When asked directly about Irving's vaccination status or his plans to change, multiple people familiar with his situation declined to answer directly. But one confidant and family member floated to Rolling Stone the idea of anti-vax players skipping home games to dodge the New York City ordinance, or at least threatening to protest them until the NBA changes his ways. Dope. There are many other players outside of him who are opting out. I would like to think they would make a way, says Kyrie's aunt, Tiki Irving, who runs the 7-time All-Stars Family Foundation and is one of the few people in his regular circle of advisors. It could be like every 3rd game, so it still gives you a full season of being interactive and being on the court, but with the limitations that they're, of course, oppressing upon you. There can be some sort of formula where the NBA and players come to some sort of agreement. Good for Kyrie Irving. He employs his aunt, his family member, and then she's up here defending him. What a great guy. She's like, listen, they're out here oppressing us. We'll just skip the games. That's called not caving. And I'm not trying to put it on you guys because I'm not Kyrie Irving and you're not Kyrie Irving, but I'm tired of people saying, Anomaly, I don't want to get it, but I'm going to fake a vaccine or like whatever. Should I get a vaccine passport? First of all, it's illegal. And I think you should be charged with a fake vaccine passport, not because I think it's a great rule, because I think it makes you a coward. How are you going to say, oh, they're trying to make me show my papers? And then you're like, let me pretend to have a paper. Coward. You deserve to go to a gulag at that point. This is why, people cave like this, and then it's going to be permanent, and then they're going to cry and play the victim. If you can't even, oh, I don't want to show my papers, so I'm going to forge a paper signature to make it look like I have papers. You're a coward. You deserve to be charged with a crime. Not even just a crime of faking vaccine passports, a crime of being a spineless wimp. At least people who got the vaccine believe in it, or at least got it. What a wimpy move to pretend like you have the papers, and then it's going to be permanent forever. And you're going to be like, well, I did my best. No, you didn't. You joined. Kyrie Irving has everything to lose, and he's standing up with his aunt saying, you're oppressing me. He's not faking his papers, committing a crime to just try to fit in. Coward. Charged by the judge anomaly for fraudulent, spineless, un-American behavior. 15 years of doing push-ups. All right, let's get back to the article. A spokeswoman for Irving declined to respond to a list of questions regarding his vaccination and playing status, and Irving did not immediately respond to a message from Rolling Stone. Good for him, smart man. Do not talk to the media. But as teams return to preseason training camps next week, 50 to 60 NBA players have yet to receive a single vaccine dose. League sources tell RS. That's a lot of people, to be honest, 50 or 60. There's not that many people in the NBA. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but you got 5 people who start, about 10 people who play, maybe 15, 20 people on each team. Wow. 50 to 60 NBA players have yet to receive a single dose, league sources tell RS. So that's a good chunk of the NBA. And when you have a star like Kyrie Irving leading the way, it holds a lot more weight than, no offense, just Andrew Wiggins, who didn't quite live up to how good he was supposed to be. But he's still young. Hopefully he plays good this year. But anyway, most are considered merely reluctant skeptics. This is my favorite part. Some of the holdouts, however, amount to their own shadow roster of anti-vaxxers who mounting a behind-the-scenes resistance to COVID protocols and the truth. Man, this is it's like reading a ghost novel. Some of the holdouts, however, amount their own shadow roster of anti-vaxxers mounting a behind-the-scenes resistance to the COVID protocols and the truth. I would love to have a debate or a conversation with this journalist to see the truth. I have the truth. Do you, bro? I bet this guy knows nothing. I would love to have a scientific, analytical, data-based, discussion with him to see how truthful his shadow roster opposition is. Anyway, let's keep reading. Sorry. Irving, who serves as a vice president on the executive committee of the Players Union, recently started following and liking Instagram posts from a conspiracy theorist who claims that secret societies are implanting vaccines in a plot to connect Black people to a master computer for a plan of Satan. I got to read that again because that just went over my head. Sorry. Irving, who serves as the vice president on the executive committee of Players Union, so he's a big deal, even in the Players Union, recently started following and liking Instagram posts from a conspiracy theorist who claims that secret societies are implanting vaccines in a plot to connect Black people to a master computer for a plan of Satan. So before we move on, I want to explain the linguistics of this. As somebody who's had a media smear piece on me and just reading news all the time, I know how they operate. They didn't say Kyrie Irving thinks that, Black people are connecting to a computer. They didn't say Kyrie Irving liked a post that connects Black people to a computer. They said Kyrie Irving likes a page who posts that type of stuff. So he's now responsible, Kyrie Irving, for liking or following a page and everything that person posts. It's like if you listen to Michael Jackson or you watched a football game that O.J. Simpson played in. And I'm not comparing Michael to O.J. Simpson because I think they're very different. And honestly, I think Michael got a raw deal. But anyway, it's like you're responsible for everything R. Kelly or Ja Rule ever did in their life because you listen to a song or you follow their page. This is the crap that they try to pull over on people. And the dum-dums who read the mainstream media are like, oh my God, he thinks that. And it's like, they can't even prove that he liked that specific post. And just because you like a post, I like posts sometimes that I don't fully agree with. I'm just a click. It's just a click of a button. A heart pops up. Sometimes I just like throwing out hearts, It's Sunday. You got to be nice on a Sunday. I'm throwing out hearts to everybody. It's not like my whole life revolves around a post I liked on Instagram. Like, these people are such idiots. And I know how fake they are. Because when NPR did their big smear piece on me, they said the number one post about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a conspiracy theorist on Facebook who thinks the government's using the pandemic for control. It's like, that's not a theory. That's like obvious reality. The question is whether it's justified. But anyway, they never even explained in the article, they never explained that I didn't post a conspiracy theory from Alex Jones or whatever they were trying to make me seem like. I posted a CNN article and CNN covered it. So are you calling them a conspiracy theorist? Because I would tend to agree. But in general, it's like I play it, and I'm not trying to act like I'm so scared of them, but like I know the game. I'm playing chess with these snakes. And I'm like, well, I don't need to say it. CNN said it. They'll admit that this was taken off the market for a week or whatever. And they're like, they never even explain that because they want their followers to think, oh my God, there's a conspiracy theory on the loose. So I'm going to read that one more time just to give you an insight of how the media works, and be on the lookout for that, whether it's a bias of because both parties will do it to each other, and right-wing media can be sneaky too. But I would say New York Times, Washington Post, Rolling Stone, liberal media probably takes the cake of deception. But let's read it one more time because they don't, and then we'll move on. Irving, who serves as the vice president on the executive committee of Players Union, recently started following and liking Instagram posts from a conspiracy theorist who claims that secret societies are implanting vaccines in a plot to connect Black people to a master computer for a plan of Satan. They didn't even say he liked that post, but he likes it's dot connected. Well, he knows him and he said this. It's like he shook hands with this person and this person said this in 1995. It's like, shut up, loser. All right, let's move on. To continue on that plan of Satan, this Moderna microchip misinformation campaign has spread across multiple NBA locker rooms and group chats, according to several of the dozen current players, Hall of Famers, league executives, arena workers, and virologists interviewed for this story over the last week. So who's reading their group chats? Is this like an Apple thing, or is this like somebody in the group chat snitching or something? So they're having conversations with each other in group chats. So they're like, this Moderna microchip misinformation, is that really what's happening? Who blew the whistle on that one? The Hall of Famer, the league executive, arena worker, virologist. So God forbid somebody has a conversation. I mean, whatever. So long story short, and then we'll move on. Kyrie Irving, pretty big deal. Apparently drawing a harsh line. 50 to 60 players, according to sources, have not taken the vaccine. And the league is starting to work with them. Why? Because they stood their ground. And remember, the NBA is not just the NBA because of the executives. In fact, I would say they're not that special or important. I'm sure they make some sort of good advertising decisions, but for the most part, the NBA advertises itself. The people who make the NBA great, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, players like Michael Jordan, Dirk Nowitzki, Andrew Wiggins. I mean, it's not the best, but you get what I'm saying? It's the players. So there is no NBA without good players. It's not interesting. So you have more power. It's the same with nurses. It's the same with police officers. It's the same with doctors. It's the same with union workers. It's the same with, people who deliver mail. It's the same with people who work on docks. It's the same with people who do whatever work you do. The world goes around not because of these scumbag losers who sit in HR. And there's great people in HR. I'm not trying to say everyone's bad in HR, but it's like these people seem to want to micromanage everything. A league that's a majority Black, they're trying to force a vaccine down their throat that a lot of people don't want. And I don't care if they were white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. I'm just saying it's like if they don't want it, they don't want it. And that goes for everybody in every ethnicity. But it's like you have these people sitting in the upper. Get the hint. They don't want it. And to be quite fair, even according to your science, it doesn't make sense to allow one dose. If one dose is fine, why doesn't everyone just get one dose? Well, everyone needs to get 2 doses. Then why the hell would your policy be 1 dose? If it's 2 doses, why is it 1 dose? When's it going to be 3 doses? How come the players who play for the Warriors have to get it, but not the away team? It makes no freaking sense. You guys are tyrants. That's the only scientific sense that it makes. Medical authoritarian tyrants. They are scumbags. They're losers. They don't know how to have scientific debates. All they know how to say is conspiracy theory. It's like, I bet you that dweeb who wrote that article, if he debated me in an actual arena, he would look like a damn fool because I know the science. I have data. I've read thousands of articles. I read his stupid article. Highly entertaining, but stupid. But in general, It's like, these people don't want to have a conversation. They want to sit there in the shadows and pop up out of nowhere and write a smear article. They're like hunched over their back. They have terrible posture because they've been on the computer for 15 years. They got 17 cats. They're Uber Eating every night. I'm almost like describing myself. I'm like, shit, I do this crap too. So I'm like, anyway, I don't have cats, but I do get Uber Eats too much because I'm busy. But anyway, they're in San Francisco. They don't want to, hey, do you want to have a conversation with me? Like a full dialogue? And then they pop up and a conspiracy. I'm like, you're dumb. What do you, the one guy who wrote my NPR article, his profile picture to this day is him standing there like this. He has his eyes. I'm not even joking. He's an NPR reporter. He has his eyes closed in his own profile picture. And when I covered the article he wrote, I'm like, bro, between me and you, but also the whole world now, because you made it public, so now I am too. How much do you hate yourself to not even be able to open your eyes? They say your eyes are the window to your soul. So you're like closing your soul. And it's like, there's no excuse for that. Because like I've been in pictures before where I'm blinking or something and it comes out with a blink. We're talking about your profile picture, and it's a selfie. It's like, bro, you could take 100 selfies until you get one with your eyes open, and then you could put that as your profile picture. I mean, who wants to listen to a journalist who can't even take a picture with his eyes open and put it as his profile picture? And it's like a little dumb thing, but it really is very telling. Your eyes are the window to your soul. If you're like ashamed to even open your soul, your eyes, that says a lot about you. It's like, I hate myself. I hate myself. I hate my skin. I hate my gender. I hate it all. It's like, I hate working out. I hate the sun. I just want to lock down. It's like, we get it. Gremlin Gary. His name's not even Gary. I just thought it was funny. It's like, we get it, bro. But why don't you work on yourself? And then maybe you won't be spreading so much wickedness. Wow, you got paid by NPR or Rolling Stone. Wow, they gave you 60, 70 grand a year so you can like have this power you never had. Oh, now they're going to listen to me. Kyrie Irving's going to really get it from me. It's like, bro, Kyrie Irving could beat you in basketball. So could I. You want to talk trash to Kyrie? Let's take it on the court, big dog. Me and you, one-on-one. We're both not pro players. Let's play hoops. If I win, you never write an article again. And you start listening to our side a little bit. These people are such clowns. But good for Kyrie for standing up. Good for Andrew Wiggins. And I hope that shows a beacon of hope, because I've heard, my friend just through the grapevine, also a very good song. Heard it through the grapevine. Classic. I think that's Marvin Gaye, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I heard that in Los Angeles, they're trying to mandate the vaccine for the police, but a lot of people aren't doing it. So it's a numbers game, but it's also like, how if you have enough power, then you can put your foot down. And if one person sticks out, they're like the nail that gets hammered down. So that's my advice to people who want to get a fake vaccine passport. First of all, we like to do everything legal here, but in general, it's illegal. And I wouldn't even feel bad if they charged you for a fake vaccine passport, not because I'm a snitch or I think you're so terrible, but because I think it's cowardly. I think you are identifying that they want you to show medical papers and you don't believe in it. But then you go and do it anyway. And then you're going to be shocked in a year when it's permanent. It's like, well, I don't deserve this. Yeah, you do. You literally do deserve it, because you couldn't even stand up when it was easy. And it's going to get harder and harder and harder over time. So, people like Kyrie, if he was alone, it wouldn't be doable. But he's the leader. And then he's got 40, 50, 60 people behind him. Now there's a real movement. They're going to have 30% of their league not playing basketball. In the NBA, they're going to lose millions upon billions of dollars. And, that's a big deal. So let's see what happens. Thank you to him for standing strong, and hopefully it inspires others. And before I end, it's even deeper than just the medication. Yes, it's a personal decision. If you want to take a medication, that's on you. But in general, it's even deeper than that, because if they determine that they can boss people around and tell them to do that, what else can they do? This is way deeper than just one medication. This is like the freedom of America at stake. And once again, I say this every time, but I just want to make it very clear. There is childhood obesity on the rise. Adult obesity has been on the rise over the years. Life expectancy has been going backwards. Depression's been going up. Suicides, overdoses. A lot of really bad trends have been going upwards in America over the last 5 to 10 years and through the pandemic. And the leaders of health don't seem to really give a shit about it. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but how dumb do you have to be to not realize that these people don't care about health? Childhood obesity is up enormous rate over the pandemic. Did they lock down McDonald's? Did they lock down Wendy's and Burger King and Carl's Jr. and Jack in the Box? Did they lock down? No, not only did they not lock down restaurants, they closed out all their healthier competition. So all you could get was McDonald's. They made you fatter. They don't give a shit about you. They made you fatter. And well, they can't lock it down. Well, how could they could lock down a bunch of mom and pop shops, but Target's all open and Walmart's all open. They're taking, all the revenue in Amazon. How does that make any sense? Not only do they not lock down fast food and crappy foods, if you compare the food at McDonald's in America to the food in McDonald's in Europe, the food that we eat is literally illegal in a lot of parts of the world. The bread that we use, the way that they GMO the meat, look at the laws in certain places in Europe. It's not just like, oh, hamburgers are bad. No, I'm a hamburger degenerate. I ate bacon this morning. I'm sorry, I'm disgusting. But in general, I eat hamburgers. I'm not acting like I'm so great. Oh, I'm just eating carrots every day. No, I eat a hamburger too. I'm just saying the bread that they use and the way that they do this stuff is not good for you. And they know that, and they don't give a shit. And other countries have banned it because it's so terrible. Eating a hamburger is not that bad if it's cooked right and it's healthy, but they do like the worst, most disgusting, degenerate things in America that wouldn't even be legal overseas. Where's the CDC? Where's the FDA? Center for Disease Control? Well, they're not controlling diabetes. Well, they're not controlling obesity. Well, they're not controlling heart disease. So what are they controlling? Pharmacy profits and a bunch of one-sided, lopsided authoritarianism. These people don't give a shit about your health. How much more obvious could it possibly be? We have an obesity epidemic. They will never lock down fast foods because that's the halftime show. You ever watch NBA halftime show? NBA halftime show sponsored by Mountain Dew and Taco Bell. Yeah, let's treat the players like animals. We love these players so much. Black Lives Matter until Kyrie Irving's black life decides not to get a vaccine. Now we're going to treat him like an animal and a prisoner and like a moron, even though we say he's so smart when he's on our side. And then we're going to tell him how unhealthy he is. Kyrie Irving, you're so disgusting. It's like, how many disgusting journalists want to talk about Kyrie Irving? The dude is in like top 0.001% of like the healthiest people on the world. He's perhaps like a top 40 athlete in any sport easily. The guy's in like literally world-class shape. He's one of the best point guards in recent history. And you got these disgusting, degenerate like journalists who are just got string bean arms or they look like disgusting. And they're like, you're so unhealthy, Kyrie Irving. Get like me. And it's like, no one wants to be like you. These are the people that are controlling our health. They're like, Kyrie, you're disgusting. Why don't you sell the vaccine like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Why don't you just sit there and throw the ball through the hoop as we sponsor the halftime show by Mountain Dew and Taco Bell? Oh, if you're trying to disease control in your center, Rochelle Walensky, why don't you lock down some fast food and do some European style food regulation so we're not eating disgusting trash that's killing us all the time, you psychopaths? All right. I just want to read one more thing real quick, and then I'll get to some questions. So this is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bleacher Report. If you guys don't know Bleacher Report, it's one of the biggest Instagram sports pages that I follow. I don't know how many millions of followers it has, but it's one of the biggest. They posted a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar quote, and the response was very telling. Apparently, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was quoted saying, "There is no room for players who are willing to risk the health and the lives of their teammates, the staff, and the fans simply because they are unable to grasp the seriousness of the situation or do the necessary research." Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. One of the funniest comments I saw on my Twitter was someone's like, his last name is Jabbar. It's like Jabber, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're like, what did you expect him to say? All right, slight joke, but let's read the top comments. This is in order, all of the top comments on Bleacher Report. Eli Sweatshirt said, "Selling out in your old age." The Fit Driller said, "There's no room for people to force people to do what they to do to their bodies that they don't want." The GOAT Coach said, "These comments are going to be interesting." Brian Spen said, "Research, LOL, bruh, stop it." Joseph said, "Hands up." Someone said, what exactly does he mean, do the necessary research? Because if you do the research, you'll know that the vaccine is not as effective as the media says it is, said Lucas 10 Aglia. And if you look at the early Israel data, they were saying it was 95% effective. And then I think it was knocked down to like 39 or 38% effective. So I think, he's right there. Someone said, Kareem, we are the research. Someone said, guess he hasn't done the necessary research. Someone said, maybe they did do the research and realized the seriousness of the situation. So, all of the people in the comment sections are disagreeing with him. So I do question how popular it really is. Obviously, a lot of people are listening. Obviously, a lot of people got bullied into it. Obviously, a lot of people took it under their own free will, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do question how popular it is. They make it seem like everybody, and then I read the comment sections of a pretty neutral, non-political sports page, and everybody's railing against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, saying we are doing the research. And I do want to say this real quick. I'm not one to, say too much or say anything I don't know. But one thing that I do know is myocarditis was cited by our health experts. For a while, they were saying, no, we don't see the link. And then a couple months ago, or I think it was like 5-6 months ago now, I can't remember, but they admitted that there is a link between myocarditis and the vaccine. Although it was rare, they said a couple hundred cases, I think at the time. I'm not sure how much they're up to now. They did admit that happened. When the FDA panel came together and they were discussing why they didn't want to approve the booster shots, one of the things they were talking about was myocarditis in young men. That is what they were talking about. So here's my thing. I don't tell people what to do, what not to do. I don't spread misinformation or any of that. I read the actual information. But myself and basketball players, we are among, and I'm not in basketball shape, but I am in pretty good shape. In general, I mean, I do play basketball, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not an NBA athlete. These guys are in like tip-top shape. If there's one demographic, in my opinion, in my perspective, and to be honest, I would say that this is backed by data, but they'll say it's not. One demographic of people that, could do without it, it's like super strong, jacked, extremely healthy young men, which is what the NBA is mostly that. Because according to the FDA and a lot of people, the big link seems to be with myocarditis, it seems to be affecting young men more than any other demographic. So, as far as if this vaccine was 100% effective from stopping and slowing the spread or whatever, then I would be like, yeah, I get why they'd want to do it. But it doesn't, their science and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's science, in my perspective, it doesn't make any sense. Because if you get the vaccine, you could still get it. You could still spread it. So I don't understand what he means. Like this narrative that they're saying, well, you need to get it for other people. It's like an old narrative. Like that's the narrative they had 6 months ago when they were telling everybody, and they were telling everybody this. I have the articles to prove it. This vaccine is 95% effective. If you don't get it, you're going to spread it to grandma. But as the effectiveness of the vaccine goes down, and you look in places like Vermont and Israel that are heavily vaccinated, that are not having a slow of cases like people expected, and that the media said, then it becomes a lot less about other people and a lot more about you. But they won't admit that, or they won't change the narrative to that. For instance, I've been printing out, and I find it interesting because this is the second most fully vaccinated state in the country right now, Vermont. They have all ages, 69% people fully vaccinated, 77% people with one dose. 12 and up, which is just everybody above 12, 88% of the population has one dose, which is what the NBA is trying to require, or the states or the cities are trying to require. 12 and up, fully vaccinated, 78%. 65 and up, one dose, 99%, over 99%. 65 and up in Vermont, 95% are fully vaccinated, almost all of them. And in Vermont, once again, I'm sorry this is backwards, but this is now. This was last year. This is right now. There's not only not a slow of cases right now, there's actually more cases than there have ever been, despite a heavy majority of their population being vaccinated. And according to the New York Times data I have in my hand, which was updated on September 26th, which is today, cases over 14 days are up 36%. Hospitalizations over 14 days is up 49%, almost 50%. Deaths are up 33%. And if you compare it to last year, it's up even more around this time. Because if you go to October of last year and September and you compare the deaths, etc., it's way worse this year. So where's this correlation of like, oh, I've heard the numbers, but they're like, yeah, if you don't get it, other people, you need to get it for other people. It's like they're listening to you in Vermont. For all I care, no offense if you live in Vermont, but since I've never been there, For all I care, do 100%. Do 100%. Lock down the borders. Do 100% vaccination and leave everyone else the hell alone and study that. And if you guys can get it under control, cool. If you spiral, because what's weird to me about this, if you look at the spike of last year, just real quick, this is October. This is all the formerly known as flu season, which is now COVID season, I guess, the winter, where, historically things kind of ramp up. This is October of last year. It's not even October yet. So if this ends up spiking way higher during winter, like I think it's going to, this is not a great trend. If this was happening during the winter, I would be, in my opinion, I would be like, well, yeah, that's somewhat expected. It's the winter time, but this spike's coming before winter. So my guess, let's see the experts guess, right? The experts say we're going to get it under control because everyone's vaccinated. Maybe, but I think, and this is just my guess because it hasn't happened yet. Unfortunately, my guess are 95% accurate. Their guess are 20% accurate. I think it's going to spike even higher in the winter. So tell me how great it is when the vaccination rate goes even higher and the cases go even higher and the deaths go higher, because I would love to hear their science behind it. And like I said, before I end real quick, I believe in science and I'm willing to respect people's, I guess, analysis or experiment. So when they say we're experimenting by locking America down, that's a study that we've never done before in those numbers in modern history. So we locked everything down. I'm against it. I don't agree with it, but I can at least respect the idea of what they were going for, right? I'm not a psycho person. I'm like, I don't agree with it. It's disgusting. I'm against it, but I get what you're saying, right? The scientific experiment is if you lock everybody inside like slaves and animals, you're going to defeat a coronavirus or you're going to slow the spread and build things at the Javits Center and bankrupt nurses or whatever. So, okay. And then the George Floyd thing happens and all of a sudden they're like, well, you have to go inside and your kids can't play sports, but we're going to allow tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people hit the streets, loot, set things on fire, congregate by the tens of thousands. And I'm like, okay, so you guys are going to say none of that, right? Because in your little experiment, you're saying we can't do that. Well, now that our side of politics did that and got a little violent with it, we're just going to pretend that it's not that violent and it's not a big thing because racism's a bigger virus than the virus. It's like these idiots don't even you have to be pretty dumb at this point to not realize that they're not doing science. So for instance, just to be honest, it's like, okay, so the NBA is going to do a vaccine policy. I'm against it. I don't agree with it, but if they were somewhat honest about it, I could respect what they were trying to do, right? I don't agree with it. I don't have to support it, but I respect that they're trying to do something somewhat scientific. They're not doing that. They're telling the players, you need at least one dose. Why? If everybody has to get 2 doses, why would they only need 1 dose if it's 2 doses? Because if it was 1 dose, everyone would get 1 dose. But they said get 2 doses, so everyone gets 2 doses. But the NBA only needs 1 dose? Okay, that doesn't make much sense, but whatever. Okay, now what? So if the whole Golden State Warriors, they all have to get the vaccine in order to play at the arena, does the vaccine stop or the spread of the virus? Can you you can transmit it and you can still get it? Okay, well, that kind of is a little beat on that end, but whatever. So the opposing team, they have to be vaccinated, right, too? Because if you're doing a San Francisco rule where, everybody at the stadium needs to get it and all the players need to get it, the opposing team's going to have to get vaccinated too, right? Oh, they're not? The opposing team doesn't have to get vaccinated under these new rules. It doesn't make any scientific sense. Even the most brilliant virologists would look at this and be like, yeah, I'm for the vaccine, but you would want everybody double vaccinated and everybody at the stadium vaccinated. It doesn't work if some people don't follow it. Some people are on 1 dose, some people are on 2 dose, and everybody, whether you have 0 doses, 1 dose, or 2 dose, can catch or spread the virus. And this is the type of anti-science bullshit, excuse my language, bullshit that they're pushing at your works to try to bully you. They're saying, if you get the vaccine, you don't have to take a test. If you get the vaccine or you don't get the vaccine, you have to take a test every week or every day or every month. So why would they only be testing unvaccinated people if vaccinated people can get and spread the virus? If you really want to stop coronavirus from entering your work, you would test everybody, including the vaccinated, because they could get it and spread it. But this isn't about science. They want to bully you into getting the product. They want to bully you into being a lifelong customer. They want to bully you into authoritarianism. That's what it's about. How much more obvious could it possibly get, even to the most pro-science, pro-vaccine, pro-Moderna, pro-Pfizer, pro-Johnson & Johnson person? It doesn't make any sense what they're doing. They said it was 95%, then now it's 38%. Now they don't even talk about the efficacy that much anymore because it really doesn't have what they thought it was going to have originally. So if it was a real scientific thing, let's keep COVID out of the workforce, you have to test vaccinated people also. And I'm not even going to talk about natural immunity because I've already referenced the Bloomberg Israel study a bunch of times. And I just talked to a lovely woman in Israel today, a mom that follows me. She's got kids in Israel. She pulled her kids out of school. I follow her on Twitter. Anyway, she's telling me in Israel, they're making everybody get the double vax and they're taking away their green pass. And she's kind of, not pumped about it. And I was like, because she lives in Israel, I was like, there's a study out of Israel that Bloomberg reported, one of the biggest studies that proved, or that showed, I won't say proved because everything's always changing, but it showed that natural immunity can actually protect you against the Delta variant harder than the Pfizer shot. I didn't say this. I don't just make up shit like this. I'm referencing a Bloomberg article that they posted on their Instagram and story that came from this huge Israeli study that even Dr. Fauci admitted is worth discussing, because it is. So how are they taking away the green pass from Israelis when their own studies are admitting that natural immunity is a thing and could possibly be better? I'm not saying that. They're saying that. So, and I also find it very strange that Republicans claim to love Israel all the time. Israel, Israel, Israel. The Republican Party likes Israel more than America. But why am I the only one talking about Israelis that are suffering authoritarianism? Why am I the only one talking to Israelis about what's actually going on there? All these other Republicans, they shout about Israel all year round, all the time. Give Israel our money. Let's pass speech laws for Israel. Let's bow down to Israel. But then when Israel actually needs some reporting and help, all of a sudden, all these Zionist Republicans are, their mouths closed. It's like, what do you guys do? You're not even helping the people of Israel. What are you, just like a political operative to sell out America to a foreign country? But then when like the Israeli people are like, hey, we could use some help now, it's like, yeah, shut up. We don't actually want to help you. That's the Republican Party, in my opinion. They do to Israelis and Jewish people what the left does to Black and Hispanic people. They just use them as like a narrative when it's convenient to fundraise and do stuff. But when it actually comes to helping people, helping these communities that they prop up for goodies, all of a sudden they don't seem to care anymore. I just find it very bizarre because, my rhetoric can be a little harsh or something and people could think I'm mean, but I actually like people. I don't want people, whether it's in Israel, Palestine, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, America, Iran. I'm not a hater. I know there's great people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I have my own national interest as an American. But I don't have this hate in my heart. Sometimes people are like, we hate Iran. And it's like, you don't have to like the government, but you got to understand there's tens of millions of great people in Iran, just like there's millions of great people in Israel, just like there's great people stuck in Palestine that are probably suffering. And there's probably also people in Palestine that are having a great day and they're not suffering. But whatever. I'm just saying, it's like, people always say, oh, you're so hateful. You hate these people. I'm like, no, I'm a real person. I don't pander and do all this stuff and like, oh, I love no, I actually like people. So if I don't agree with the policy, I don't agree with it. I don't pretend to, but I just find it weird that everybody loves Israel until Israel's getting like abused with authoritarianism. And all of a sudden the media is so silent. I'm not bragging, but I'm probably the one who broke the Australia story to millions of people. Cause it's like, wow, that's crazy. We got to report on that. And that could go to the left with BLM too. It's like they love BLM. Now BLM is protesting the vaccine mandate. It's like, that's interesting. BLM is apparently ticked off at the vaccine mandate. I don't agree with all the other Marxist nonsense you're doing, and burning stuff down. But if you want to do that in New York City, you'll probably end up doing more than the Republican Party because they just sit on their hands and act like they're helping us. I wanted to go through a little checklist real quick. Sorry, I know I said I'd get to the questions, but I'm kind of on a roll here. I said, here's how and this is just a tweet from me. I just did a little list. I said, here's how the Republican Party stood up against Democrats, Fauci, and medical tyranny over the last 2 years, right? Republican Party, here's how they stood up to the Democrats, Fauci, and medical tyranny over the past 2 years. They helped lock down the country with the Democrats, fact check too. They put Fauci on television every single day for like a couple months, fact check true. They might not have the power to fire him, but they don't have to put him on TV every day. They pushed mass testing with the Democrats. They extended the lockdown past 15 days with the Democrats. They rushed the vaccine with Operation Warp Speed and sold it with Big Pharma. And they did the CARES Act and printed trillions of dollars like AOC and Andrew Yang. So that's how the Republican Party helped us with COVID. And then they turn around and like everything's going to shit. And it's like, whoa, like, oh no, we're against the mandates, guys. Yeah, if you just donate to like Lindsey Graham's mailing me with the RNC, I got like a check from him or something. They're trying to like, not like everyone got $30 or something. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like Lindsey Graham wants to talk to you. It's like, oh, let me read what Lindsey Graham has to say. Psych, I don't give a shit what Lindsey Graham has to say. Tell him to stop mailing me or I'm going to unregister. It's like this party so out of touch. We don't want letters from Lindsey Graham. We want you guys to do something. If you're going to build a wall, make it big, make it long, and make it so big and long that somebody a new administration can't come in and screw it up like the Biden administration. If they would have built a huge wall like they have in Israel, oh, we need slits in it, they said. We need slits in the wall so you could see through. Do you, though? In Israel, they just got a big ass, I think it's like a stone or brick wall. They can't see shit. No one can see shit. It's big enough to the point where no one's, what's wrong with that wall? I mean, maybe you want with the slits in it or something, but apparently it's not working. I'm talking about like, build a literal wall 100 feet tall across the whole country. And then it doesn't, what? Can we do that next time or no? Whatever. Thank you guys for watching. I could rant all day, but it's all good. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'll read some comments and then I'm going to take off probably in a little bit. Yeah, someone said the one in Israel is huge and concrete. It seems to work pretty well for them. Why do they need slits in the wall in America? I'm just like, Israel has the defense thing, right? They intercept missiles and stuff. They don't need a see-through wall. It's like, bro, we got GPS now. It's like when people say with like a chip, they're like, they're going to put a chip in you to track you. And it's like, they don't need to put a chip in you to track you. They have a computer chip. My phone has a computer chip. My computer has a computer chip. I got cameras. It's like they got everything already. They don't even need to do that, but whatever. Someone said no walls in Berlin was a lesson. Yeah, but I do have to say this too. And listen, God bless Germany. I saw that the Marxist Party won today. Literally, they founded Marxist Party, defeated like Angela Merkel or whatever. But is Germany really like great? I mean, obviously, it's probably better than like starving and having to pay $1 million for bread in World War II. But like, is Germany like doing really well? Maybe they are. I don't know. I've never really been there, but it's like, we learned our lesson. I don't know that the Western world learned our lesson. I think they taught us that we learned our lesson, and I feel like we were just delaying the inevitable, and then they bamboozled us this year, and we have a new lesson to learn. But it's okay. We'll get through it. Someone said Biden flip-flop. In my last video, I said they flip-flop more than a sandal on a trampoline. That's like a dad joke. I don't know if I invented that, but I thought of it. I didn't like look it up online. I just was like, they flip-flop more than a sandal on a trampoline. That's like a popsicle stick joke, It's not funny enough to make you like laugh your ass off for like 20 minutes, but it's just funny enough to be like, ha ha ha, that anomaly. He's always got something up his sleeve, but it's not my best joke. It's not even top 20, but enough for a little chuckle, and then you move on. Someone said, later, dude. Later, Billy. I'm going to try to keep this under an hour. I feel like that's probably a good idea. Someone said Russia built the wall in Berlin. Yeah, I got to relearn the Berlin Wall. They took it down. And they're like, hooray, we went. And now like Germany's like, they're like, when do we get out of lockdown? I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's even true. I'm just trying to mess around. All right. Someone said, how long is everyone going to wait? Everyone isn't now too much. I mean, I guess they've relaxed a lot, so people don't really care as much. Someone was saying that to me too. They're like, there haven't been that many protests where there could be like in New York City. I think they should ramp up probably because of what they're doing. But most of America has pretty much gone back to normal. It's kind of a choice now. If you want to wear a mask, like I see people wearing masks on jogs, and it's just like, I don't have to do that, so I don't really care as much anymore. When people are forcing you to do something, it's like, yeah, stop doing this. But if you're like at a park and no one's bothering you and there's this one guy with like 5 masks on, it's just like, I feel like that's how a lot of Americans feel now, where it's like, well, no one's bothering me, so I don't care. But if they try to bring it back in the winter, I think the cases are going to go up, the deaths are going to go up, winter's going to be winter, and they're going to be like, oh my God, we've never seen this in the winter before, except for every year ever. And I'm not saying it's going to be from the same sickness. I'm just saying winter tends to be a time where people get sick, and then they're going to try to lock down, I think. Someone said the mask bullying began about a month ago in Phoenix. Not doing it. I need to breathe. I'm sorry to hear that. You would think Phoenix would not be doing that. I went to Phoenix like a year ago and they didn't bother anybody, but I don't know. Maybe that's changed. All right, a few more minutes, and I'm gonna keep it under an hour because sometimes people see an hour and 30 minutes and they're like, who has time to watch that? Keep it short, under an hour. It's like it's a marketing tip, by the way. If you say $99.99, people are like, oh my God, that's a steal. And then it's like $100.05. People are like, dude, that's a lot of money. So that's why they always do like, $89.99 because it just sounds cheaper. So that's what I'm gonna do. Keep it under an hour so people look at it and be like, oh, I could do that. And then also I don't talk and say something stupid because as time goes on, it gets cringier and cringier. Sometimes people say, normally your hair looks stupid. I'm like, your hair looks, and then we get in a fight and I don't even know who this guy is, probably drunk or something. So it's better to just cut it short sometimes. Someone said I'm a 15-minute guy. Don't tell your wife that. Now, come on now. I'm just playing. But anyway, had to make a joke. But yeah, shorter is good. But I guess here's my thing too. Sometimes people say, you have to go shorter. And it's like, I do shorter videos all the time. I have hundreds of videos that are like under 15 minutes. So just wait like a couple days times a week. I usually do that once or twice a week. So if you don't like the longer ones, just don't watch it. But I find that it's fun when I'm here. It's fun to be live. And even if it's 2 hours in, you got 1,500 people here, 1,000 people, got almost 2,500 people. It's, it's a fun time to just like go back and forth. But yeah, it's not fun if you're coming in 2 hours later. It's like watching a baseball game on repeat or something. Like you had to be there. That's how I feel about it. It's like, yeah, 3 hours, that seems psychotic because it is. But it's like, if you were there though, and it's like 2.5 hours in, it starts getting weird. You get what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. But Joanne said, I'm having a great time. I am too, but I'm biased. All right, I'm going to end on this note real quick before I go. Once again, let people know if you follow any news reporters or journalists or anybody in the conservative movement, whatever, if you see anybody that looks athletic or they say they like basketball, let them know. Anomaly wants to play on one-on-one. I'm ready to play anybody. I won't say any time because it's got to be the right time, but like anybody one-on-one, any news reporter, Don Lemon, Anderson Cooper, anybody can get it. And I challenge them one-on-one. We could live stream it or we could film it. And that's what it is. I've been dying to play somebody one-on-one. So we'll see if anybody takes the bait. A few people have said yes, but we haven't played yet. So I'm trying to test my skills. Yes, sir. Oh, ref, he's all over me, sir. Come on. You didn't see that, sir? He's grabbing my jersey when you're not looking. Stop tweeting. You shouldn't be tweeting when you're reffing the game. These people, nowadays the refs are millennials. They're on their phone when they should be paying attention. He's been grabbing my jersey all night, sir. But anyway, appreciate y'all. God bless you. God bless hats.com. I'm working on new designs. The top comment on YouTube said I would rock an Anomaly shirt that just said Anomaly. So I listen to you guys. Believe it or not, I don't just fight with random people 2 hours in. I do listen to the comments sometimes, and I'm working on an Anomaly design. But for now, I love the hats. I don't know. They're comfortable. They got a good vibe. It's not like a political hat where people hate you or they love you. It's pretty chill. Grandma seemed to love it. I get, I like your hat. I like your hat. She's not even wearing a hat, but whatever. Appreciate you guys. God bless hats. Telegram, t.me/DreamRareChat. If you want to know when I go live, it's spontaneous. I always post it on my Telegram. t.me/DreamRareChat will take you to the Telegram app and my page. And I always post a couple minutes before, 5, 7, 8 minutes before I go live. So appreciate y'all. Have a good night. And God bless Kyrie Irving and God bless everybody in the NBA. who's putting their foot down. It's great to see, and I think that they're having success. At least that's what the loser from Rolling Stones wrote. Have a good one.